Hi, everybody. It's episode 361 of PodQuest.
Hey.
It's Wednesday, July 14th, 2021. I am Chris. With me is Druten.
Hello.
And Walnut.
Hello.
How you guys doing?
Pretty good.
Yeah, not too bad. Sorry, I was in the middle of texting. I'm gonna stop now. Yeah, not too bad. Had a decent day today.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
So now you're about to have a terrible evening.
Maybe we'll see.
Rich, we're not actually having PodQuest this week. This is actually an intervention for you about How I Met Your Mother.
You know what? No. Just no. I'll leave if that's what it was. Like, because you'd also have to have an intervention for me about How I Met Your Mother, about Community, about Brooklyn Nine-Nine,
That one's actually pretty good.
Scrubs.
So's Community.
Yeah, it's I those are all my like repeat shows. Sometimes Bob's Burgers.
Erica has been watching through Scrubs for I think for mostly the first time. I think she's only ever seen like the early seasons.
Mm-hmm.
But she's got to what is it, season 8, I think, is where the show introduces all the interns?
That's
or is that season 7?
No,
Maybe it's an
that's
8-season series.
It's season with Aziz Ansari, right? You're talking about?
Yeah, so because it's there's
yeah.
the last season with the core cast where they introduce the interns, and then the following season the interns are the doctors, and I think just Turk is really left.
No, so there's season 7 where they introduce some of the interns, including Angry Doctor, which I can't remember. Mahoney, I think is her name, and Aziz Ansari, and then season 8 Mahoney is in it as well. But she's a resident or whatever the second year is from interns. And then it's season 9 where it's med school and they have the med students.
Okay, that's what I'm thinking of then. She got to that point where no one really likes the show anymore. And she was getting through it pretty quickly and then hit that point and just whenever we put Hulu on, I see that she's still on that same season. It's only another episode ahead. I'm like, it's bad, isn't it? She's like, yeah, it's not good.
If it's season 9, yeah, season 9's fucking garbage.
Yeah,
If it's season 8 has some of the best episodes on there because it's their finals.
No, it's definitely season 9. It's the final season because it's the one where nobody's left.
That was actually not supposed to be Scrubs. It was supposed to be in the Scrubs universe, but it was supposed to be called med school or something.
Yeah, because and I think it was between season 7 and 8, the show got canceled and then picked up by a new network.
Yeah, 7 and 8 it got canceled. 8 was the official last season. I think it got canceled during 8.
No, it switched networks after 7.
Okay.
Yeah, because I wasn't watching it at the time, but I remember the promos for it when it was coming to ABC from NBC because it ended the season that Carla was pregnant, and the when it finally came back for season 8. A lot of the promos were Carla was still pregnant, and I think she was getting ready to have the kid, and they were making jokes about how long she had been pregnant for because it had been a whole extra year.
When season 8, Carla was pregnant with her second. They were having their second kid by the end of season 8.
So when did they have their first kid though?
Season 5 or 6.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't know because I remember those jokes from the promos. So I don't know.
I don't remember those jokes from the rewatches.
No, they weren't in the show. They were the promos, the little interstitial things that they would show during other shows, not actual scenes from the show. Just hey, Scrubs is coming to ABC this fall.
Okay, that's weird. I don't. That's weird.
This is also over a decade ago at this point, and I never watched Scrubs past season 5. I think so.
In my opinion, Scrubs has the best sitcom series finale. If you cut out season 9.
If you cut out the actual end.
Well, no.
Once again,
it has
just like How I Met Your Mother.
But
cut the actual end, and it's better.
Even the writer, season 9 didn't have Bill Lawrence, who was the original creator. He does Ted Lasso now. He just makes money in Hollywood with everything he does. And season 9 didn't have Bill Lawrence. Season 9 had JD for 6 of the 13 episodes. Season 9 is not an official season. It's not even looked at as canon by a majority of the cast and writers.
Yeah, because weren't the only original series regulars Dr. Cox and Turk?
Cox and Turk, JD and Elliot show up a handful of times, as well as the Todd. And Dr. Kelso is in a number of episodes as well. But they're not the primary cast. The primary cast is the med student.
Yeah, like I know the janitor's gone because by that point he was on the middle.
Yeah, he was on the middle. They didn't know they were going to get another season, and then they got another season after they filmed the season 8 finale, which was a series finale.
Yeah. I would argue, like, I haven't seen that one, so I can't say for sure. But the season 6, I want to say, finale of Parks and Rec, it was not their series finale. It was the Unity Day Festival.
Mm-hmm.
Is actually the best finale of anything, whether it be series or season.
Well, if you're gonna combine them both together, I would have to agree. But I'm saying series finale flat out. Like,
well, because I think that may have actually been the series finale, because I think Parks and Rec got picked up late that season. So, like, they wrote the show to be the finale in case it didn't get picked up.
And they kind of, like, they wouldn't have done a time jump if that didn't happen. I don't think they would have done a time jump if they didn't think they were going to be canceled.
Exactly. And that's why that finale was perfect. It called back to everything. It had a fucking little Sebastian hologram.
Yeah. I get emotional every time I see the final concert with 10,000 candles, right?
Yeah, I believe that's it.
10,000 candles. I've been seeing, and this is another tangent, then we can get on with the actual show. I've been seeing a lot on, like, Facebook targeted ads and Instagram targeted ads, vinyl for Mouse Rat. And
they're releasing an actual album of the songs from the show.
Yeah, and so I've been like, I kind of want to buy that.
Do it.
I don't have a record player. I already have one vinyl I can't play.
I think Drew has like 4 that he can't play.
2. They're literally sitting right in front of me.
2 and 4. I mean, they're both divisible by 2. It's close enough.
Unless we're counting the fact that Trainwreck is a double LP, then I have 3.
Yeah, so we're just gonna round it up to 4 then to keep it even.
All right, fine.
But yeah, let's get into the actual show. Did you do any of the intros besides us?
I mean, no. So what's on the agenda for this week?
Oh, the agenda for this week. We're going to start off. Jordan actually got Mario Golf, and me and him both beat the adventure mode. Assassin's Creed Infinite, which I didn't even know that was a thing.
Infinity. I apologize. I meant to fix that earlier.
Infinity, which I looked at this sheet earlier and didn't even see that, so shows how much I pay attention. There was the State of Play last week on Thursday that we're going to talk a little bit about. Nickelodeon Smash Bros, which I would need to look more into, but I'm super psyched about that. Then I believe just me and Cobb watched Resident Evil Infinite Darkness. Cobb, you watched Turn A Gundam. I saw Black Widow. I don't know if anybody else did.
I did.
And that's going to be our primary topics for the show.
Nice. So what did you guys think of Mario Golf?
It's pretty good.
You just started playing it yesterday, Jordan. So like I already put my 2 cents into about a majority of it. What do you think? Like goods or bads? Like I'm gonna say don't focus too much on just the story mode story. Like who gives a fuck about that? Like
the story in the adventure mode is fucking dumb.
It's stupid as hell.
But whatever. The actual golf is good. It's fun. Some of the modes are dumb, though.
Oh, yeah.
Like I just want to play straight-ass golf, and that is good. But then, like, the cross-country golf, where you can basically, here's 6 holes, decide which order you want to fucking shoot at them in. You have 40 shots to get it in all 6 or whatever. That's stupid. Dude, I hated that. That was the dumbest shit.
I don't even know if cross-country golf is a playable mode in multiplayer.
Probably not. It probably just shows up that one time in the adventure mode or whatever, and that's it. And it's like, okay, well that's a thing. The speed golf is okay. Like, I can see how that could be fun, but I wouldn't like normally opt to play that way.
So
I'd say
in the just golf mode, where it's just play golf, not adventure mode, you have standard, speed, and battle. That's all you have to choose from.
Okay.
So they don't even have XC golf in, like, the multiplayer form. Why fucking put that in?
Well, why did they put it in?
And
that's dumb.
And it was for one area. Like, I agree with you. Like, the one thing I wanted to do was play fucking Mario Golf. And that entire adventure mode had one regular golf match. The rest of them were XC or speed golf. Mostly all speed golf.
Yeah, and just, I don't know. I want to play some online with you and try that out at some point.
Mhm.
But I don't know. It was worth it, especially
I like
we got it for
because,
30% off
like
at Target.
is his internet crapping out? Is that what it is?
That was me dropping.
I don't
out.
know.
Cool, fun.
Drew,
This is
you there?
happening again. Awesome.
Nope, he's
Oh,
not.
yep. He just dropped. Man, he
Oh.
wasn't he just telling us last week that his internet was had been good since Comcast came out?
Yeah, this might be something like maybe one of his cats knocked his router down or something.
Yeah, he
But-
just sent a message that his internet dropped out.
Yeah, so I'll try to continue this a little bit. Hopefully, I can spread it until he can get back on and he can tell more of his opinion. But the story mode overall is just it's milquetoast. Like, you don't need it. It was dumb.
That's what I've heard. Everyone's like, "Oh no, this game actually plays pretty well. Like, it's the golf is fun. The
Mhm.
quote unquote story mode is stupid."
Yeah, and like I don't know if you need to play story mode to unlock Battle Golf, which Battle Golf seems really cool, but you don't get to play Battle Golf in the story mode. So why the fuck make you do the story mode to unlock Battle Golf? I have to look that up to see if you can actually if that actually works. Or
Is there any
go ahead.
way to unlock? My internet's back now. Is there any way? Is the story mode the only way to unlock the courses too? Like, I don't know, because I
Drew,
was just
your
like,
internet is
let me
not
go
as
into
back
that
as you
first.
think it is.
Oh, is it?
You went super auto tuned there for a second.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's definitely going to drop again. Every other word you're kind of like.
All right.
But I think maybe he's back, maybe he's not. But
I think he's
we-
he's gonna try rebooting his stuff. Rich, your
I
laundry's
think-
done.
Yeah, it's not mine. I think what he was trying to ask is if there's any other way to unlock more courses. And from what I've heard, you could have just played regular golf to unlock all the courses.
Which is at
Like-
least nice if people don't want to play the adventure mode.
Yeah, because like I said, you get one regular golf match, and then after that, it's speed golf. And the first speed golf is just you have to get to your ball and hit it within a certain amount of time, like under a certain amount of time, and that's it. Then the next area, your speed golf is every stroke adds 30 seconds, and you have to win the match, or you have to complete the match in under 30 minutes. Which,
Okay.
so, and take a normal golf course. It's the front nine. So the front nine would have about two par fives, 3 par threes, and 4 par fours. So 4, 8, 12, 16, plus 10 is 26, plus 3, 6, 9 would be 30. What is that?
I'm not good at math. I couldn't tell you.
35. Cut that in half because they're 30 seconds. Like, it already, just to play each one, you have 15 minutes in. Just over 15 minutes. Just to, if you're gonna get par in every hole. Then you gotta run to your ball for every hole as well. It fucking sucked. Twice. Or 3 times, actually, I think. I lost in that one because my last stroke was made at under 30 seconds.
Same.
And so it doesn't just say you hit it and then your time is over 30 seconds. Once you hit it, it takes that 30 seconds away, stops the match, and says you do not qualify, and you end it at 35 minutes.
Yeah, that happened to me. Like you said, I think 3 times before I finally got it.
Yeah, that was, besides XC Golf, the worst mode is time, adding your time up. And then the actual championship match in that course was friggin' speed golf, point based. So if you were, and it was opposite golf. Basically, you had to get to the hole in the least amount of shots to get the most points.
Mhm.
Oh, that's
And I was
not fun.
I was like, fuck this. Because not only do you have to get to the hole with the least amount of shots, you have to get to the hole with the least amount of shots in the least amount of time.
Yeah.
It's just, it was so annoying. That,
I mean, well, I fucking smoked that match.
That match,
that
oh
was
yeah,
not hard.
that match, I got done no problem. I think I restarted once because, I restarted on, the third hole because, just everything was going wrong and I wasn't hitting right. But then the worst part was they teach you the lob shot after that, and I fucking needed a lob shot during that match.
Yeah.
It's just, it was, the whole adventure mode is bullshit. But you might need it to get the battle mode, I don't know. But Jordan, I think, and I already answered this, but I'll answer it again. I think you were trying to ask if there's a way to unlock the maps without doing the adventure.
Yeah.
If you just played normal golf, you would have to play each course. At least that's what I heard. But I think it's the complexity of the controls can be as complicated or as simple as you want without changing up the UI.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I really like about this game is if I just want to be a simple golf player and just look at the angle, like look at the wind and just hit straight, I can. If I want to try to add spins to it sometimes, I can. And like you can be complicated, but you can also just be simple. And I like that part.
Yeah, I didn't use curving it very much.
Curving it it's hard to figure out how hard you want to curve it, and like I don't know if you want to like, and that's the part where I'm trying to say like it can be complicated, and right there it could definitely be complicated trying to figure out curving. But a lot of the times I tried curving at least at the end of the ball, at the end of the drop instead of like midway, just so that it would curve a little bit near the dog leg at the end of the stroke.
Yeah,
and that was about it. I always had a high spin. What'd you think about leveling up in the level up system?
Oh, it was fine. I don't know. What level were you by the time you finished that?
60 something.
Okay, yeah, same.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. The occasional times where you did have to like make a choice on if you wanted to let a thing drop one or not was like, okay, cool. It didn't feel too restrictive though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And like the nice part is like once you get your speed, control, and spin at 10, you then don't have to worry about those until they drop down to 8. So like once it drops from 10 to 9, just leave it at 9. And then once it drops from 9 to 8, you boost it up to 10, and that negates it from being dropped. And so that just gives you those extra times to be able to boost your distance. I'd have to look at what my distance is on my Mii, but it's like 270 or something like that.
Oh, right, because you play all this with your Mii.
Yeah, the adventure mode is all with your Mii. I'm gonna see what my if it says what my Mii's power is 251 for my Mii.
Damn, yours is way higher than mine.
And so I have max speed, max control, and level 8 spin, which is fine. So yeah, I have better power shot than all of the power hitters in Mario Golf, which is nuts.
That is actually kind of funny.
Yeah. But yeah, I am excited to try like other characters. I'm probably not gonna always use my Mii. I feel like my Mii is a little overpowered. There were a lot of times where I had to like cut down to a lesser club just to make a good lie, and so power isn't always everything. But yeah, it's really fun. I can't wait to play with people. I haven't had a chance to play it with people yet. Still banking on getting this PC soon so that I can stream it. So really want to stream and play Mario Golf with people.
Have you played multiplayer yet?
No, I have not played multiplayer. I haven't had a chance to play multiplayer yet. There's also a challenge mode I haven't done. Like when I beat it yesterday was like the third time I picked it up since I got the game 2 weeks.
Oh, right. You had mentioned that you weren't really playing it because you were trying to stream games when you were playing them.
Yeah, so like I tend to take off of stream on Friday and Saturday, so I would play it then, but past Friday and Saturday were like busy and I wasn't just sitting around to play stuff. It wasn't until like yesterday halfway through work that I was like, I ain't fucking doing shit, I'm gonna play some Mario Golf while waiting for work to come over. We lost Shootin' again.
Yeah, he sent a message that he was restarting his router.
Okay.
He said that only his computer was dropping, so I think he might have like a bad cable or something.
Maybe. We'll see.
But, you know, these things happen.
Yeah, we can, Mario Golf. Eventually there might be some PodQuest streams of it when I get my PC, and me and Jordan will be able to play with each other. Maybe, like, I don't know. Honestly, if we could all get together, we could stream it and just play with one controller, because you can do that.
Oh, that makes sense, because you would just pass it around because you take turns playing golf.
That is a mode that they have. If you play turn-based golf and not everyone goes at once, you can just pass the controller around, which is really cool.
Is it what's the timing? You hit A, you wait for the meter to fill up, you hit A again, sort of thing.
Yes, but that's all it is. Like most golf games, you hit A for the backstroke, you hit A for the front stroke, you hit A for the stop. In this game, it's you hit A for the bar to go up, you hit A or B for the bar to stop. That's it. And then a second bar will go up, and as the second bar is going up, you can try to add spin or curve to it by tilting the stick either all the way or partially or just a little bit. For each, like, there's the sections of the bar will be cut into like 3 or 4, depending on your spin control.
Okay.
And so you can like try to get it to angle a little bit more at certain parts of your distance that you're going.
Okay, yeah, I had heard a couple different places that the golf, while it played well, there wasn't really anything to it.
Yeah, it is very simple, but also can be very complicated if you want it. You don't have to use the curves, but you might get a little bit of a better lie if you do. You don't have to give yourself forward spin or back spin, but you might be a little bit better if you do. Like, because if you hit A at the top, when the bar reaches where you want to hit it and you double tap A, it'll give you a front spin. If the bar gets to where you want it to be and you tap B or double tap B, gives you a back or a super back spin. So like, if you want that more specific lie with the ball, you can get complicated, or you can just like kind of wing it. And most of the adventure mode, I was just winging it because it's all fucking speed golf. And you only have 9 out of the is it 9? It might have actually been 7 out of the 13 clubs you normally have in a golf.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, you only have half a golf bag, because if you carry more than the 7, your speed is slower because you're carrying too many clubs. It's the dumbest. I swear, the dumbest.
That really does sound kind of useless.
Yeah, it limits, like, the adventure mode limits so much what you can do because it's all speed golf, that, like, the difference in where you can get your ball to drop is so far from each other. If you time it right and hit it with the right power, but, like, it's either you're going over the pin or under the pin. There's no, like, finding a club that'll reach exactly where the pin is 90% of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I also, just to sort of rewind for a second, because I didn't want to trail you off of that, I never, in years of knowing how to play a golf game, like, I used to play, like, Nintendo golf, like, just golf. I never realized that you could look at it as, like, as your backswing and everything like that for the different taps. I was always just like, you tap it twice. You tap it to stop it, you tap it to stop it again.
No, yeah, it's you tap it once for the backswing and see how far back, and you tap it again for the front swing.
Yeah, never. I've also never played golf, so it's not a thing that I thought about that way, but that actually makes way more sense, that your taps are kind of how far you're swinging the club.
Yeah, yeah.
I think, like, in those older golf games that I'm remembering too, no matter how you hit it, the sprite of the golfer is always just kind of doing a full swing.
Yeah, I think, yeah. Like, I think I used to play a Genesis golf game, and yeah, it's, like, they don't do their swing animation until you're done setting whatever you're gonna do. So, like, they just do but, like, in newer games, it tended to, like, correlate as you're hitting the button, your character is swinging back. But it's like, first A to start your swing back, second A to swing forward. Yeah,
and, you know, it's not what's his name, Rory McIlroy PGA Tour, like, 2014 or whenever that game came out.
Yeah. McIlroy.
No, McIlroy is somebody else. They make podcasts about Dungeons and Dragons, and the other one's just a comedy podcast, right?
It's an advice show for a modern era.
That's fair. Actually, speaking of them, I think it was Justin tweeted out something the other day about crescent rolls.
Okay, and I believe that would be a Justin tweet.
He tweeted something along the lines of, like, every time he has a crescent roll, he wonders why he doesn't just always eat crescent rolls. But then followed that up, like, moments later with, these crescent rolls are making this house smell as Baptist as you can get, or something like that. It was a very, very funny tweet, and I recommend going to Justin's Twitter and finding it. I think it was yesterday. It was yesterday or the day before.
Yes, it was yesterday. It was 23 hours ago.
It made me laugh. I did not do it justice because I don't remember it verbatim, but it was very funny. And Drew, do you think you're stable now?
I hope so.
Is there any other Mario Golf stuff you would like to say before we move along?
Not really. Other than I want to play some multiplayer, because I want to see how that game is against because the AI is super easy.
Well, there you go, Rich. You have somebody to play
Yeah.
with.
Oh yeah, for sure. Probably Friday, maybe. We'll see. I mean, I'm not really playing any other games with anybody else because anything else would be on PC. My PC can't really handle things. So if I'm playing games on Friday, it'll probably be Mario Golf.
Well, why don't you just get a new PC?
I'm honestly at the point of thinking of emailing HP and being like, hey, can I get an update because it hasn't moved since I ordered it?
I mean, that is what will happen. It will, the day before it ships, it'll go into production, and then it'll ship on the day that they've estimated.
Yeah.
Here's the update. We don't have any 30... You got a 3060, right?
I think so, yeah.
Here's the update. We don't have any 3060. Talk to you later.
Yeah. We were selling you your graphics card for too cheap. We had to buy a PC just to get a graphics card, and so we're waiting for that to be built so that we can take that graphics card out and put it into your PC to send it to you.
The good news is, and this is not a shot against your purchase, nobody really wants the 3060. Like, it's the 3070 and up that is, like, the real hot ticket item.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, Dell can definitely get some 3060s off of NVIDIA. It might take a few extra days because NVIDIA's trying to make more 3070s and 80s and 90s, but they'll definitely get them.
Yeah.
If you had gotten a 3070, there's a chance your order would just be canceled. Or, I'm sorry, HP, not Dell.
They sent me an email on Monday about my care packet registration. I'm like, it's like, you need your serial number. I don't even have my fucking computer yet. How do I register my care package if I don't have my fucking computer yet?
Oh man, what if it shipped and it just went to the wrong house and now somebody else is playing with your PC?
No, I keep checking the status of my order and it just says, like, received or whatever. Order confirmed. It's not even in assembly yet.
And when did you order it?
I ordered it, where's that? On the 20th. So it's been almost a month. And when it's scheduled to arrive will have been after I make my second payment on my credit card.
Which is very funny.
Yeah, but that's what I get for going with HP and having a PayPal credit instead of going with like Dell or somewhere else. Internal finance.
I think you got a decent deal through HP, so
yeah.
It is what it is.
It's a solid PC. When it arrives, and I'll be super excited to play different kinds of games and stuff.
Only you can't afford new games because you just spent all your money on the fucking PC.
Look, my birthday is shortly after my PC arrives. People better be giving me Steam cards and shit. Hint for anyone listening who's going to give me a birthday gift. Just give me Steam cards.
I'll get you an Epic Game Store card.
You know what? Fine. I'll deal with it. They do some free games in a while. I should check that out.
They do like free games like literally constantly.
Yeah, it's like, isn't it a weekly or something like that?
Yeah, I think it's weekly. So
anyway,
yeah.
Assassin's Creed Infinity. Have you guys heard about this?
I did 30 minutes ago when I started reading the doc.
No, that's a lie because you told us at the top of the show that you missed it the first time you read the doc.
Well, I know. So 30 minutes ago when I read the doc, I heard about it.
Oh shit, yeah, we are 30 minutes in. Jesus Christ. So Ubisoft seems to be planning a live service version of Assassin's Creed. That's what Assassin's Creed Infinity is shaping up to be. It was definitely not something they planned on revealing right now. It looks like one Jason Schreier was about to publish an article over at Bloomberg about it, and Ubisoft just jumped on it ahead of time and published their own blog post about it also. This way it wasn't like it wasn't technically a leak at that point.
Yeah.
It's probably not coming until 2024 at the earliest, if it happens at all. There's actually a chance that they just decide this isn't worth the investment and scrap the whole idea.
Mm-hmm.
The idea seems to be, though, that Montreal and Quebec studios would sort of be the ones heading the initiative. They would seemingly pass it back and forth, almost like Call of Duty. Well, actually, I think those two studios already do this with the Assassin's Creed games. I was about to equate it to Call of Duty, but that doesn't quite work. So the two French-Canadian studios will be handling the majority of the work on this. But it sounds like Ubisoft is basically going to just have all of their studios involved in one way or another. Mm-hmm. And it'll be a live service Assassin's Creed. It'll get content updates. It'll have present storyline in different parts of the past as you explore things through the Animus, I guess. There's not a whole lot of hard details for it yet, but do we need a live service Assassin's Creed game when people aren't super into the 100-hour Assassin's Creeds that have been coming out?
Probably not.
I've heard Valhalla's great though. Like, are people not about Valhalla? And
people are about Valhalla for the first 20 hours, and then it goes on for another 90 hours. And it's this. So people really liked Origin. Origin was apparently really well done. It was long like that, but it worked. Since then, they're no longer assassins. Like,
yeah.
And the games just keep going and keep getting further and further away from, like, anything people want. They're just, like, shoving content into them in just an unnecessary way.
Yeah, they're using the term Assassin's Creed very loosely anymore just to sell more games.
Exactly.
They want to make a Viking game. Oh, but they don't want a new IP. Oh, we'll just make it Assassin. It's like I've fell off the Assassin's Creed train with following Black Flag because I really loved Black Flag, but there wasn't much of the real world stuff, and they've taken even more of that away, if there's none at all for the most part in there. That I'm just like I was intrigued because of the multiple the dual storylines running in the game. Now that it's just like, oh, go be a Viking, I'm like, I kind of don't wanna, like, not in this game.
Yeah, and apparently they're paced poor. Like, they are apparently good games. Like, people enjoy the core of them, but they're super poorly paced. They go on for way too long, and people just fall off of them. It's similar to, like, the Watch Dogs games. People like them conceptually, but then when they actually play them, they're like, these don't have any real depth or narrative to them. They just kind of flounder for a while and then finish.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I personally don't think we need I think, if anything, they need to rethink Assassin's Creed in a different way and bring it back to the smaller experiences that they were a decade ago.
In my like, because I haven't played since Black Flag, the best Assassin's Creed was, and they need to bring it back to. I know a lot of people might not have liked the ship combat, or at least you didn't like the ship combat.
Oh, I fucking hated it. It was terrible.
They need to bring it back to a lot of that formula, but keep with a lot of what they've done as well. Like, these games could be really great open world games, but it's so much, like, it's just not. I don't, at least in my experience up till Black Flag, like, the follow missions were stupid. Like, they could have been better. Like, the learning information stuff could have been so much better.
Yeah, I mean, frankly, Brotherhood was peak for that series. Brotherhood had the best present storyline portions and the best assassin, like, Ezio portions.
Yeah.
That was peak for that game. Every game after that was slightly downhill. Until Black Flag, where, like, I didn't like Black Flag, but it was not a bad game. Like, Black Flag was, like, the last...
Yeah. Like,
good one as far as, like, people were concerned. Because then Unity came out and everyone just lost faith in it. And not enough people played Syndicate, I think, is also the problem. Like, from what I hear, Syndicate's actually very good. It flounders a bit because nobody likes the male assassin. Everyone likes Evie, I think her name is. I don't even know what the brother's name is. Because everyone only ever talks about the female.
Yeah, I don't know.
And then after that, they went to the giant open world ones. And I played 20 or 30 hours of Origins. Origins was really good. Bayek was a really cool character. But I don't have 100 hours of Assassin's Creed in me.
Yeah, and I think their biggest problem is they keep trying to incorporate new ideas with, like, if you think about, like, Assassin's Creed 1 through Black Flag, like, each game had, like, new gadgets and new fight styles and things like that, and eventually they ran out of ideas that they could do with gadgets and fight styles. Like, oh, we can't use a hook to zipline down things anymore. What can we do? Oh, let's just make the world bigger.
Exactly.
Yeah. Like, and it's like you're going further and further back in time. And so you can't have technology advance too far when you keep going further back. Although, like, I believe, like, Odyssey and Origins are the furthest back. And then you've got Valhalla, which I don't know the time frame for Valhalla. I don't know when Vikings were big. I don't know if that equates to close to around the same time frame as Odyssey and Origins.
No, it's definitely after that, because I want to say, based on the story that I vaguely remember them talking about, by the time of Valhalla, the Roman Empire is no longer kind of stretched across Europe. Mm-hmm. So this is probably like 5th or 6th century, I'm assuming, is where Valhalla takes place, versus probably BC for Origin and what was the other one called?
Odyssey.
Odyssey, thank you.
Yeah, and like that's the thing. Like they built this great, awesome sounding story leading up to 2012, like to the apocalypse of 2012, and like at one, like a lot of us were expecting a like modern era, modern times Assassin's Creed at some point, and we just never got that. Like, and they just, from what I hear, just cut out all of the modern times stuff, and it's like, to me, that's not Assassin's Creed.
Yeah. Just real quick, Valhalla is set between 872 and 878 AD.
I was not that far off considering how many centuries it could have been.
Mm-hmm.
And for a game I've never played before.
So that's probably post Assassin's Creed 1, but pre Assassin's Creed 2.
Yeah, because Ezio stuff was definitely in like the 1600s, I want to say.
Yeah, that's like the Renaissance.
Yeah, so it is definitely pre Assassin's Creed 2.
I don't remember when Altair stuff was supposed to be, though.
His is like
Crusades?
yeah, Crusades.
So that would be after that too, then, because the Crusades were like the 1200s or 1100s, something like that.
Okay, so yeah,
Got to brush up on your history there, Rich.
I haven't taken a history course in 15 years, so
I mean, same.
Exactly why it's time to brush up on it.
But yeah, and that's like I said, like all of those games kept getting new and more modern technology, and now they keep going further back. That you can't have that quote modern technology. You have to have that older technology. So what are they going to do? Magic powers and bigger maps? Sure.
Yeah, and I know I played a little bit of Odyssey, because it was the game that was part of the Stadia trial or whatever they did, that like the beta test for Stadia from 2 years ago, give or take, 3 years ago.
Right.
Yeah.
I played the opening of that game. It was a like a war combat game in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was a giant battlefield where you were fighting people with swords and spears and shit. It was nothing like an assassin. And from what I've seen of Valhalla, you are also having fights with armies. You know, you're not. There's probably sneaking around in both of those games, but they're definitely putting more of a emphasis on these big elaborate fights. It's like you're a fucking assassin. You're not part of the fucking infantry. You're sneaking fucking up behind people and stabbing them in the fucking jugular with your hidden blade.
Yeah, they're relying too much on the open world, which people. I mean, I don't know how many people actually really want open world anymore. Or at least if they're going to give you an open world, don't have it so big.
I mean, people either want open world for like sandboxy stuff or multiplayer. Like that's what the majority of people want at this point.
Yeah, and it's like those games aren't very sandbox. They're not sandboxy. Like I don't think there's much, if any, crafting besides like upgrading your armor in those. There's no need to farm or anything like that. Like I think it was Brotherhood or maybe it was Assassin's Creed 2 when Ezio had his like villa that he made money off of. Like you didn't even really need that. Like they went a little too far with some of this.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't disagree. But I guess we will find out in 2024-ish if there's going to be an Assassin's Creed Infinity. It's a little. I find it a little funny that they're going with the same naming kind of convention that Halo is using after all of sort of the. I don't want to say backlash, because it's not the name that got backlash. It was the poor display of the game. But like Halo doesn't have a great showing yet, and they're just going with the same name. It's like people weren't super excited about a live service Halo game. People like Halo a whole lot more than they like Assassin's Creed. Come on, Ubisoft, think things through.
Look, I just want to know, like, are all their new season DLCs gonna just be more towers?
Yep.
like
that's all it is. It's just one big tower.
Like the next, like every map is it's just gonna be, hey, look, this tower just arrived. Go climb it and find out everything that you can. Fucking tower climb.
So last week, the day after we recorded, there was a Sony State of Play.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't anything super exciting. They kind of told us ahead of time. It was third-party indie stuff, which their idea of indie seems a little skewed, based on like the games that were shown there. But
yeah.
And they also said it was going to deep dive into some more Deathloop, which I thought it was nice that they waited till the end. Normally, that stuff like that is, here's 15 minutes of Deathloop at the end, and then here is 15 very quick minutes of other stuff.
Yeah,
and it was it was swapped, and it was actually, I think it was only like 10 minutes of Deathloop at the end.
About, give or take, 10 of Deathloop. And in my opinion, that was the worst part of the state of play. And this isn't me being bitter about how much we're seeing fucking Deathloop. This is me being legitimate. That game doesn't look good.
So I have to say, like, I did not watch the Deathloop portion. I stopped before then because I just don't care. I'm not going to buy Deathloop.
Mm.
But I don't think the game looks bad. I actually think it looks incredibly interesting. I just don't want an asynchronous multiplayer sort of thing like that. I don't even know if that would be considered asynchronous. I don't know what that would be considered. I don't want a game where somebody can just hop in my game and fuck up my entire time.
They did say that it could be an AI or a player. You can probably set it. But, like, you could probably set it to always be AI. But, like, I don't know, the concept of the game doesn't make sense. That, like, you have to kill all of these people in one day because time
you don't know anything about the
restarts
story, do you?
They give you information about the story.
So
You're on this island and you're sent to this island to kill. You're stuck on this island and in order to stop this time loop, you have to kill these 6 people by the end of this day. And like this is flat out what they say in this thing. That you're stuck in this time loop in order to stop it. And from what you've said in the past, like there's rich people trying to live on this island or whatever that have this time loop to live for eternity. But if this time loop happens and you have to kill these 6 people by the end of the day, when that 6th person dies and the day ends, isn't it just going to restart their lives and bring them back to life? And what is killing them in one day going to fucking do?
Well, I think that's the whole thing. You're supposed to kill them in one day so that you can then end the time loop. Like that's the hunt. I am sure there is actually more to it in the actual game that they're just not fully revealing. But I think the concept's actually interesting. It's just it's basically a roguelike, and I have no interest in roguelikes.
It certainly is a roguelike. There's you get an ability where you can die up to twice before the loop happens when you die fully. And you get this resource that helps you hold on to weapons if the loop starts, if you fully die. And it's just, like, to me, like, I'm all for roguelikes. I have differing viewpoints than a lot of people on Hades. I don't fully get the allure of a lot of it. I do see it as, it is a roguelike, I just don't think it's as good as everyone said it is, but I still think it's an enjoyable game. That's another, like, we've had that conversation before, but, like, I'm all for roguelike. But this one just doesn't do it. And it just, like, the gunplay looks dumb. Like, it's just, I don't know, everything about this game just doesn't look good.
Which, I mean, I can completely understand that. I think the game looks good. It's not $60 or $70 good for somebody like me who does not like that type of game, so would end up never playing it.
Yeah.
Now, outside of Deathloop, though, was there any particular games that kind of stood out to either of you that that you actually want to see more of or get when it comes out?
The first, they started with Moss, Tribes of Midgard, and Fist, and all 3 of those are like, I was like, these are definitely games I would love to play. Unfortunately, Moss 2 is VR, which I don't have a VR headset. But Tribes of Midgard we saw at E3, but they gave us a little bit more about it. But Fist looked just really cool. It was like that side-scrolling beat-em-up platformer or something like that.
Yeah, with the rabbit.
Yeah, with the rabbit, and it just was like, I was like, this looks really cool, and I'm super into it.
It's got a little bit of like a Metroidvania feel to it from what it looked like.
Yeah.
Yeah,
probably. Like, it might too. Like, it might be a Metroidvania type game. I don't really know much about it. It just, I thought it looked. And then we saw Sifu last year, but or at least in a previous state of play. But, like, it re-piqued my interest, even though we're not getting it until next year. But yeah, like, for the most part, in my opinion, every game spotlit in that state of play was a game that would intrigue one, if not everyone, minus Deathloop.
That's fair. And honestly, there are a lot of people that are actually super excited for Deathloop. Yeah. It's just a shame that Sony has been shoving it down our throats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But hey, it's It's money for Xbox that Sony's going to have to deal with, I guess, right?
Yeah.
In a weird way.
I liked with Fist that it kind of was like a side-scrolling beat 'em up, but also a bullet hell at some points.
Yeah, like that game just looks like it's going to be super weird.
Yeah. And then they showcased Hunter's Arena, which is free on PS Plus starting August 3rd, actually, I believe they said. Just the first Tuesday. It's their free game for PS Plus. That is a game that I was like, oh, this looks really cool. I'm going to be totally outclassed almost immediately.
Yeah, that one I'm interested in because it's a little bit different take on a battle royale.
Yeah.
Because it's not guns.
Yeah, it's like a MOBA crossed with a battle royale type of thing.
I mean, they called it a fighting game.
Yeah.
Crossed with a battle.
And that's like,
I think it's going to have like fighting game inputs and shit.
yeah, it looks like when you get into like big fights with actual players, it does turn very fighty. But if you can like sneak up on, or like maybe it's like more action when it's monsters, but fighting game when it's actual people. I don't know. It looked really cool, but I'm a gamer. I'm not a good gamer. I know I'm going to be bad at that game.
That you will.
Like, I'm going to be outclassed almost immediately. I could play that game day one and be outclassed by a 12-year-old who has been playing for 10 minutes.
Get good.
I mean, I'll have to try. Like, it's free, and it's a game I will certainly try, but I don't think it's going to be one of those battle royales that call to me to go back to it. Like, Fall Guys. I consider Fall Guys essentially a battle royale, and Apex.
I mean, like both, like Fall Guys is in a way a battle royale. It's just, it's not a shooter, but it still has that mentality to it.
Yeah.
It's the last person standing.
Yeah, so like those games like call to me. Like I'm like, man, that's been a while since I played this. I should play it. I think that game I'll play it a few times, and I don't know if it'll ever call to me to play it again.
Yeah, that's quite possible.
But hey, at least you'll give it a shot.
Yeah, but is there any other games that you guys want to like spotlight or talk about from that? Or
Drew?
The Arcade Geddon seemed like it could have been cool, but then they talked about it on the Bombcast, and it seems like it sucks. So maybe not. I don't know.
I saw that and I was like, oh, this seems really cool. Like, I wonder what it's going to be like. It seemed different.
Yeah, and I think honestly the problem with that game right now could be it's early access. There wasn't a ton of content in it.
Yeah.
So it seemed like Jeff played through the available content in like 30 minutes and then played for another 2.5 hours because he was stuck. Kind of stuck playing with randoms online who were trying to get to the top of the leaderboard, and he was the host and would have felt like a dick for just dropping out on them when like one guy jumped on mic apparently and said, "Oh, we're near the top of the leaderboard," and he was like, "Oh, well, I guess we're playing the more."
Yeah, it was like they talked about it like it's a seasonal services game, right? Like what Assassin's Creed going to be. I think that's what they were talking about.
It's maybe I don't know because it's early on.
Yeah, but
like it, it seems interesting, like a co-op-y shooter Diablo type thing.
Yeah.
So, but I think I'm going to hold off until that game is out.
Yeah, if I didn't realize it was on early access. If I could try to get into it, I might, but I'm not going to push it. Like I'll just.
I mean, you can. It's $20.
Oh, to get into early access.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not.
That's how early access works. Just buy it.
Well, like sometimes they do like free beta or whatever. Some games do. So.
Well, I mean, generally when things are in early access, you're buying it now.
Oh yeah.
And then it might be more. It usually is more expensive later, but you already paid for it.
Yeah.
But like you will only have access to the content as it rolls out, but what you're paying for right now is likely a small chunk of the full game later.
And hope that the game actually comes out as a full game and doesn't just like wither and die because it doesn't get enough early access.
Yeah.
Like that Magic the Gathering Diablo game.
Yeah, exactly. And some games do like the early access thing where you pay for it and then go free to play.
Yeah.
And some games are so promising that you pay for the lifetime super membership and then it dies after a month. Fucking Hellgate Live.
That was your decision.
Yeah, that was your fault. I I even was like, nah, that game's actually not good.
Eric got me into hype, and I really enjoyed playing it. Because we did get, like, I think they did an open access beta or something like that. And so I really liked it. And so I went back and forth about, like, should I buy into the lifetime thing? I don't know, because it was going to be a monthly rate if you don't.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, alright, I'll just buy into it, $100, and this game's going to be out for a while. And then, no, it died after, like, 2 months or something. I think I stopped playing it after, like, a week and a half. I can't remember, but I remember really liking it. But then never got anybody to play it with me, even though everyone said they'd play it all together. And then, it's just, yeah.
Yeah, but that never happens.
Yeah, I know.
Everyone says they're going to play everything together, and then nobody does.
That's my life, and why I don't buy games to play with people.
Good call.
Anymore. Like, there were a good number of times where I, like, bought games on Steam sale because they're like, oh, we'll play it, we're going to play it today, and we'll play it play it every week or whatever. And then we played it once for 3 hours, and then the next time we do play it, they had played it, but didn't tell me they were playing it. So they were super great at it. I had no idea what the fuck I was doing, so I was just sitting there and letting them do it.
That's why you got to get good.
How do you get good if you play the game for an hour?
That's play more than an hour.
But yeah,
I'm just fucking with you.
I know.
So yeah, you guys actually mentioned. Well, Rich, you particularly mentioned the two things that I thought looked interesting, which was Moss and Fist.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the original Moss was fantastic, and that Fist game just looks. I don't even really know what it is, other than it's definitely like a side scroller.
Yeah,
but it looks like it's going to be super cool. So
yeah, the Moss game reminded me. My brother has this tabletop game called Mice and Mystics, and it just, as I was watching Moss, I was thinking of that board game.
That's probably. Yeah. I could see the correlation there.
Yeah.
So, did you guys see Nickelodeon Smash Brothers?
No, I just saw Twitter talking about it a lot.
So, we've been over this. I don't think Smash Brothers is a good game. I don't enjoy it. I have no doubt that this is going to be a very bad interpretation of a game that I already don't like, but holy shit, does it have some characters. So, it's called Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl. Never heard of the company making it. It's Ludosity and Fair Play Labs, and it's being published by Game Mill Entertainment. I should have looked this up beforehand, but I didn't. It's actually due out in the fall of this year on everything. Some of the characters it's going to include are Michelangelo and Leonardo from the Ninja Turtles, SpongeBob, Sandy, and Patrick from SpongeBob SquarePants. And then 2 characters named Lucy Loud and Lincoln Loud from the Loud House. Rich, do you know what those are?
No.
Okay. You sometimes know that stuff just because you have, like, younger nieces and stuff like that.
And a lot of these shows, or a good number of these shows, I might have watched myself.
I mean, that's fair, too. But from there, which those are all things that are, still relevant. But fucking SpongeBob is going to be on forever. It's going to outlive us. But we also have Nigel Thornberry from the Wild Thornberries, Oblina from Ah Real Monsters, Helga from Hey Arnold, Danny Phantom, Invader Zim, Zim from Invader Zim, Reptar from fucking Rugrats, and my personal favorite, fucking Powdered Toast Man from Ren and Stimpy.
Yeah. That's great. It's gonna be so great.
Like, I thought I had seen stuff about this on Twitter, just like that there was a Nickelodeon Smash Brothers clone. I just assumed it was all like the newer shitty Nickelodeon things, like the fucking puppies that are fucking cops and robbers and shit. But I did not expect them to go back into like the 90s and like early 2000s with some of this. I'm surprised so this is only the characters that have been revealed. They haven't, there's more characters that have not been shown yet. I'm assuming there will be some Avatar The Last Airbender stuff. Like, I can only assume.
So I was trying to look up, not to, I'm gonna just cut you off here. I was trying to look up Ludosity Interactive, just to see what else they've done. And so I searched Ludosity Interactive, and the first thing that popped up, and this is using Bing because I'm on Edge, is ludosity.com. And it goes immediately to NickelodeonAllStarBrawl.com. And if you, go through the website, if you hover over Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl, there's no link, and it just gives you, you know how you have that little box underneath? What you're hovering over, it just says title as the image. If you scroll down to all the characters that they have announced, and you hover over them, for Nigel, it says narrator portrait BG, narrator _portrait BG. for Olga, right? From from Hey Arnold.
Mhm.
Rival _ portrait BG. Michelangelo pizza _ portrait, and Leonardo. What is Leonardo? What would you think Leonardo would be?
Leader?
Nope. Jordan.
Sword.
Nope. Moon _ portrait. Powder Toast Man. Hero. Reptar's mascot, which that's kind of works. Oh, this is a good one. And this is just making fun of this company and its website now. What do you think SpongeBob is?
Sponge?
Nope, Jordan.
Oh, I don't even know.
Apple.
Sure, why not?
Apple _ portrait.
Yeah, that's...
Yeah, this website's bad.
Eh.
Or like, yeah, I don't think this company has really made anything.
So it looks...
No,
It-
they have, but like nothing super major. But their last thing is a Smash Brothers like that looks, I mean, generic but competent. Let's say.
Yeah, it looks like the other studio, Fair Play Labs, made that really bad G.I. Joe game that came out last year.
Mm-hmm.
Which
I don't remember that game.
it was very bad.
Yeah.
They also made that game Never Alone about like the girl from like the Arctic with like the white wolf puppy dog thing, which I've never actually played. I don't think I ever played that game, but it has a very memorable like aesthetic to it. But yeah, like this All-Star Brawl thing, like it's just the game's probably gonna be bad, but they're going deep for characters.
They're trying to get that nostalgia money. Definitely. They're trying to get like the kids like me who like see some of these characters like Danny Phantom as well as Powder Toast Man. Remember and enjoyed both of those shows. Well, at least I hated Ren and Stimpy. Loved Powder Toast Man. And
God, you hate good things.
I did not find Ren and Stimpy funny. Not when I was a kid and not when it was for adults. I just never found that show fun.
Well, go back and watch the original as an adult. Don't watch the MTV shit. That was bad.
Yeah, it was.
That was bad.
Wait,
But come on, the original Ren and Stimpy in like 1992 on Nickelodeon fucking had Dingleberry jokes on fucking Nickelodeon.
I mean, dingleberries are just fur-covered poop, or poop-covered fur. So,
Just
Chase
saying.
gets dingleberries.
But you have to assume too with this game, like they only have one Ariel monster. Like there are others. I'm sure they're gonna have. They're not gonna only have Oblina in the game.
Yeah, Ipkiss,
Right?
Ipkiss and Crumb are gonna be in.
Same thing.
yeah.
Like they're not gonna have just Helga from Hey Arnold.
Yeah.
And I mean, where's Rocco? Where's Heifer?
Where are the other two Ninja Turtles?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I honestly, I'm also wondering, like, you think they're gonna throw in, like, Pete and,
Well, no. I mean, if you're gonna have anybody,
Pete
you're
and
gonna have
Pete are going to be difficult. Yeah, I don't think anything with actual humans.
no. It would be cool, it would be funny if they did, like, the plunger dude from Salute Your Shorts.
Zeke the plumber.
Yeah, Zeke the plumber.
I mean, you gotta go back even further. Like the first DLC characters, Barth from You Can't Do That on Television, and fucking Mark Summers.
If you did Pete and Pete, you'd have Artie, the strongest man in the world.
I mean, you also have characters like you have Clarissa. You've got the cast of Hey Dude. You've got Alex Mack. Like, there's a lot of live act. You got fucking Ed from Good Burger.
Yeah. Like, they could make it work. They could definitely make it work with real-life characters. Because, like, look at, for instance, Nigel Thornberry and Olga. Like, they're just people.
But they're exaggerated
No, but-
cartoon people.
It's not an issue of them being people. It's an issue of being able to go get a license to use their likeness in the game. And with they'd have to go get Danny Tamborelli to agree to be in the game. Like, they can't go to Nickelodeon and be like, can we use this person?
Yeah.
That's the difference.
True.
I'm looking at the trailers and stuff, the videos they have for their Slap City game on Steam. It looks like it plays like a Smash Brothers. Like, exactly like a Smash Brothers. Not like PlayStation All-Stars, whatever the fuck that game... Was that the name of that game? Was there another name,
No, it was-
word in the title of that?
It was PlayStation All-Stars.
So, like, I don't know. This game probably could be alright.
Yeah. Yeah. Probably could be alright. But we kind of just have to wait and see and just don't hold your breath.
Pretty much. So yeah, I don't want to buy this game. I don't even really want to play this game. I just want to see what other characters are in it, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's... Probably what they'll do is have a Nintendo Direct where they just talk about all the characters for 45 minutes.
Well, this isn't a Nintendo exclusive game, so odds are they won't. But I see what you were saying there.
Goodness. But yeah, that's it. I'm with you. Like, I want to know the other characters. Like, is it just Zim, or is Gur gonna be part of Zim's character, or is Gur just gonna be in it?
No, Gur's gonna be like the assist trophies.
Yeah, I was gonna say, are they gonna have assist trophies? Like, how much are they going to copy Smash?
I mean, all the way, right?
Probably.
Yeah. So, what's next on here? Rich?
It makes sense that you forgot what was next on here, because of feelings on what's next on here, but me and you did watch Resident Evil Infinite Darkness.
Yeah, I don't even want to necessarily claim that I watched it, because I literally don't remember it at all.
Which, honestly, I totally understand. It is very forgettable. I watched it Saturday morning before I did any, yard work. Saturday, Sunday morning before I did any yard work. I sat there and I watched it. You watched it while working. So, I missed a few things because I was bored. So I was looking at my phone or whatever from time to time.
That was my problem, too. I was working, but, I had no work. I was waiting on stuff.
Yeah.
So, I was actually just sitting paying attention to the TV, but it was so poorly done and boring. I spaced out the entire time. The only thing I remember, Leon and Claire were in it. That's it.
So this thing is 4 episodes. Longest episode is 28 minutes. Shortest is 25. And it's, what was it, 104 minutes total or something like that? 103 minutes total, something. And each episode kind of feels too disconnected from the episode prior, but it's all supposed to take place within a short amount of time frame. And it just I watched it. I took everything in. I know what happens. I remember scene by scene for the most part. I have no idea what the fuck this was about. It wasn't good. It wasn't written well. And the art and animation was on slow shots was rough. On faster shots, more action-packed shots was a little bit better. But when it was just them talking, you could tell that whoever did the localization for English just didn't do it well. It was poorly dubbed. At least poorly timed, not as much poorly dubbed. Voice acting was fine. I don't know if it was the current modern voice actors because I know Mercer does Leon in 2 remake. I don't know if he does Leon in this. So it just overall it didn't make sense. None of it.
Yeah, and I wish I could actually have any input on this, but I legitimately I think that at one point they were in refugee camps, but
that's the very beginning of the game. Claire was in a movie show. Claire was at a refugee camp because she was working with this group of a country that's obviously a fake country. I don't remember the name of it. Trying to get them more settled, and they're situated right outside of China, and so the United States had invaded them years prior, or at least prior that year or something like that, to help them gain democracy and independence from China. And in general, the story was basically made out to be that the United States were using a platoon of soldiers, or at least somebody in the United States, not necessarily the United States, but somebody who worked for the president, was creating a group of soldiers that were infected with a virus, a zombie virus, to invade China by pushing for democracy in this country and putting military aid there before they go to China. It was very political, a lot more political than I was expecting of a Resident Evil thing. And it just they mentioned Tricell, which I think this takes place, it's within 2 years post Resident Evil 4, because in Resident Evil 4 you go and save the president's daughter, and it's the same president in this. So I think it takes place pre-Resident Evil 5. I don't really know for sure, where Tricell has become a thing. It's messy. It's not well put together, and it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it was very boring. You had mentioned the animation too. I feel like the entire time the backgrounds, well, not the entire time, but at least like a lot of what I do remember is the backgrounds looking hyper realistic at times, and then being jarringly off-putting when the actual characters showed up and looked incredibly cartoony.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was very bad. It is not worth the hour and a half, 2 hours that it takes to watch them. Because 2 hours, it's a little closer. Yeah, just don't waste your time with Resident Evil Infinite Darkness. Wait for the live-action reboot in November?
Yeah, it's like they have some good CG movies with Degeneration. I think there's one or two others. Like, I've enjoyed those. I've seen them. I can't, like, it's been a while since I watched them, so I can't, like, fully remember. But I do remember enjoying them, and, like, they were less political and more, like, kind of Resident Evil, what the hell is this organization doing, and zombie viruses, and super serums, and whatever. But this just none of it was connecting for me. And, like, they had the, quote, big boss, which was the dumbest fucking fight in the world, because the boss wasn't even trying to kill them. He was just trying to escape to make it known that, like, somebody in the United States was trying to attack China, and it wasn't the president, but it was someone who was influencing the president. It was stupid.
Yeah.
It was so dumb.
So, Drew, our stunning reviews of this, or stellar reviews, you're going to just drop everything and watch this when we're done recording, right?
Oh, absolutely.
I know you're into the political satire, Drew. I really think you would definitely get it and love this.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah, it's a shame it was as bad as it was.
Yeah, I was like, I'd kind of forgotten that this was happening, but also was looking forward to it. Kind of like, I couldn't remember when it was coming out, but I knew that it was happening, and I was looking forward to it. And it was just a bummer that it just wasn't good.
I agree. I definitely agree. I do have a little bit of sort of breaking news that was actually, it was hours ago. I just didn't see it before. So Final Fantasy posted on Facebook earlier, on July 27th, Final Fantasy 5 and 6 will be delisted from Steam and mobile stores, and will both return with their pixel remasters on July 29th. The same thing is going to happen with Final Fantasy 1 and Final Fantasy 2. And it looks like Final Fantasy 3 will, like, all of them will be out on the same day, but those 4 are all being delisted.
Okay.
So it looks like the only ones not being delisted are Final Fantasy 3 and 4, because they're like the 3D chibi style.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So they actually renamed them on the App Store. I forget what they renamed them to, but they're like Final Fantasy like 3D remake or something like that.
That sounds right.
So they're apparently going to leave those, but they're going to delist all of the other ones that are still in the more original-ish art style.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there's that. That's something. I know people are still kind of bummed about those things.
Yeah, we'll wait and see, but they're maybe not as good as they should be.
That's, yeah. And I'm still bummed that they're not
choices.
just going right to like console.
Yeah.
Because I would certainly buy some of them on Switch to play them, but definitely don't want to play them on mobile. Not even a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Anyway, since I finished up Gundam 00 last week, I started Turn A Gundam this week.
I've
It
never
is-
even heard of that.
So it's from 1999. It basically, as far as like the well-known Gundams go, it came between Gundam Wing and Gundam Seed.
Okay.
There were some others in there too, like After War Gundam X happened between Wing and Turn A Gundam, but that show was not well liked and was canceled after 39 episodes.
Mhm.
So, But yeah, so Turn A Gundam is, like I said, from 1999. It is the most radically different Gundam show I've ever seen or heard of.
Okay.
There is no mobile suit at all in the first episode. None. The whole setting of this show is like turn of the century, like early 1900s. It's not that time frame, but that's what everyone dresses like that. Cars are more motor coached than cars. Like the people sit in like a coach section in the back while the driver sits up front uncovered.
Mm-hmm.
Like cameras are those weird accordion looking cameras that take the pictures upside down and everything. It's very, very old school. They have blimps. They have like twin propeller planes that are like the open top planes and everything like that.
Yeah.
So like not the sort of like future technological stuff that you expect to see out of a Gundam thing, where like people are living in space and wars are fought by various types of giant mobile suits and shit. Just super fucking weird. Mm-hmm. The only technology you really see is these three characters at the very beginning land in some sort of rocket ship on the Earth. So the story for Turn A Gundam, sometime like 2,000 years prior to the beginning of the series, the Earth was in some sort of cataclysmic war, and shit was bad, so a bunch of people just fucking said bye and went and lived on the moon for 2,000 years.
Okay.
Those people still technologically advanced because they've been living on the fucking moon. It seems like civilization basically restarted on Earth. So now 2,000 years later, the moon race, as they're called, want to come back to Earth. They want to resettle on the Earth where, you know, it's not the moon. Like, there are plants and water, and they can go outside and not die.
Yeah.
And they apparently, like, from everything that they've said early on in the show, like, they're asking to have, like, a section of North America that is not densely populated. Like, they're not really going to be, like, hurting anybody by repopulating that area. But the people that live on the Earth are being douchey about it. So then these moon race people are then in turn being douchey right back. At some point, like, so 2 years prior to the show, where the show is currently, they sent 3 teenagers to Earth as sort of a reconnaissance mission so that they could see if it was worth coming back to Earth. Mm-hmm. And at the same time, they actually opened communications with the people that were ruling North America to, like, try and come to some sort of agreement. And they refused. So once they kind of got all the intel from the 3 people that they had sent down, they attacked, like, with mobile suits and shit. Like, they're just like, nah, what are you going to do in your fucking dinky little airplanes and motor coaches? Like, we got fucking mobile suits with fucking laser guns. Fuck everybody. Which was shitty because they killed a bunch of innocent people that had no idea what was going on or that there were people that lived on the moon.
Yeah.
It turns out, though, that in this old war, mobile suits from 2,000 years ago survived and were just kind of buried underground. One of them, they call the White Doll, they thought was just a big stone statue that was actually the Gundam of the series, the Turn A Gundam. Okay. They have yet to use the word Gundam. The Earth people call it the White Doll, and then the Moon Race call it the mustached mobile suit. Because if you look up the Turn A Gundam, it looks like it's got like a pointy mustache.
I bet you I've seen this.
Yeah, it is honestly kind of a cool design for the mobile suit. And the whole aesthetic of this show, it's actually kind of like a Miyazaki movie almost.
Okay.
Like, it feels like something out of Studio Ghibli, especially in that first episode where there's no mobile suits or fighting or anything. Mm-hmm. Like, there's actually zero conflict at all in the first episode. It's very, very Studio Ghibli. Even, like, the music and just, like, there's people, like, bathing in a river and shit like that and having this coming-of-age ceremony and stuff like that. Like, it's just... It is not what you expect from a Gundam series in a weird way. And even the animation is very different from any of the other Gundam series. I'm only about 8 episodes in, so things haven't really escalated too much yet. But I'm definitely more intrigued about what's going on, just because, unlike where I felt 00 just had too many moving pieces, I feel like this one is kind of like just right. Like, it's got 2 opposing sides. They're both kind of in the wrong for different reasons. And then your main character, Laron, it's Laron, I believe. He's the one that's piloting the suit. He's technically Moon Race, but he wants to protect the Earth people too, because he just spent 2 years, like, living among them and, like, being part of their culture. So he's kind of, like, trying to stop the mobile suits of the Moon Race while also trying to convince the people of Earth that, like, we're all people. Like, stop hating each other. We're just people. Which, like, that's right, Gundam. Like, those shows are very anti-war, like, stop the conflict sort of things. Mm-hmm. And up to episode 8, nobody knows that the pilot of the White Doll is actually from the moon. So, like, his friends on Earth have no idea that he's from the moon, other than his 2 other friends that are also from the moon. And the people from the moon that have interacted with him as the pilot actually think he is a woman named Lara.
Okay.
Because, like, it's actually kind of douchey. I guess the general or whoever he is, he's in charge of things for the Earth. He's like a younger guy, and he's kind of shitty, and he thought the kid looked feminine and his name was Laron, so he's just called him Laura for the last 2 years.
Okay, yeah.
And because he's done that, he continued to do that after he found the mobile suit and became the pilot for it and everything. So the enemies heard him referred to as Laura while they were having, like, peace talks and just assume it's a woman. So, like, they had a big party, like, to try and, like, bring peace between the two cultures. And, like, he had to dress up like a woman to pretend that the pilot was actually a woman. Like, it's just, it was weird. It wasn't, like, super bad weird because they definitely tried to make it, you know how, like, anime can often be very dismissive of stuff like that?
Yeah.
And, like, not even just dismissive, just, like, downright sort of, like, shitty about it. This wasn't, they didn't do that here. They actually made it seem like it was, I don't want to say normal because it's not a thing he'd ever done before, but not a big deal. Like, one of his friends that was a female kind of, like, helped him out and, like, taught him, and it just kind of flowed easily. Which was nice. Like, they didn't make it like this weird, awkward, objective thing. But yeah, 8 episodes in, I am incredibly confused by this show. But I'm interested because, like, there's no action really so far. And like, even when there is, like, these mobile suits are not what I'm used to from any other Gundam show. Even the Moon Race, who have the more elaborate suits, they're still kind of like old technology. Let's say, like, a few of them look like ATSTs. Like, they're just 2 legs with, like, a rounded head.
Okay.
Also, the Gundam actually, like, the cockpit is actually a cockpit. Like, it is right in the fucking groin. And then, like, to get out, because they don't, they're not in space so far at all. And they don't have, like, the technology for, like, the big, like, chassis harnesses things that you would normally have for the mobile suits when they're on, like, in gravity. The cockpit just lowers to the ground, so it's like a ball descending. It's very weird. It's a very weird visual to just see, like, this round thing just drop from this mobile suit's, like, between its legs.
Yeah.
But yeah, so far it is interesting. It's another, if I'm 8 episodes in, it's 2 episode 50, so probably won't talk about it again until I finish it up. But at least the early impression, I am intrigued by this one.
It sounds very, like you said, very different. It's a weird one. That is definitely.
Yeah, because it's just, you're so used to, like, the Gundam being, like, the big technological marvel, and there being some sort of conflict already kind of established, and that's just not really the case here. Like, up until the moon actually attacked, there was no conflict in this country at all. Like, everyone was actually pretty peaceful and happy.
Yeah.
There is one thing that I did find out just when kind of researching the show, and it's not so much a spoiler, but apparently this was meant to be a bridge between other series to sort of unify them. So I guess at some point near the end of the series, there are bits that allude to the Universal Century timeline, which is the original Gundam timeline, which would put this, if this is 2,000 years after a war, then it's, maybe 3,000 years past where, like, the original Gundam happened. So this is, like, far, far future, which explains how it kind of, like, time sort of reset itself and came back around. Like, civilization was decimated so much that they had to just restart everything.
Yeah. Kind
of like, there is a show that did that. Not The Walking Dead, where, like, everything fell apart and they had to, like, Revolution. That's what it was. They lost the ability for electricity, so they had to, figure things out without it.
Oh, right. Trying to remember that show.
Yeah, it was from, like, I think it came out in 2012 and it ran for, like, 2 years. And yeah, like something happened and, like, the entire world lost its power, like, at once.
Yeah, and then I watched the first season because at the end of the first season they got power back, and I was like, well, this doesn't make the show interesting anymore.
Well, so they only got a little bit of power back and then they lost it again. Like, it wasn't like a full power back thing. It's a shame that show got canceled without, like, a proper ending, because it was actually kind of interesting.
Yeah, it was a very interesting show. That one, and I remember the same time there was a show with the captain from Brooklyn Nine-Nine about a nuclear sub that like didn't want to fire the nuke, so they went to an island in Hawaii and, quote, held the town hostage because they didn't want to fire the nuke. It was very Lost-esque.
I remember this. It was, like, called, like, Last Resort or something like that.
That's exactly what it was called. And that, like, I think that had 1 season, and they were able to film, like, a pseudo finale to that 1 season because they were only getting, like, they did get, like, a legit finale because they got kind of canceled, or just, like, they knew they weren't getting a second season early enough to where they were able to get like reshoots for the finale.
Yeah, now it was September 2012 to January 2013. It was only 13 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember that show.
Yeah,
That wasn't a bad show. I remember enjoying it.
Sorry to bring it onto another tangent and then kind of just slip off.
Yeah, no worries. But yeah, if the Turn A Gundam so far kind of interesting. Like I'm super intrigued by it. Downside is the only way to watch it legally is to buy it on Blu-ray or DVD. But Blu-ray is actually cheaper because for some reason anime DVDs are still very expensive.
Yeah.
Which like having to buy the physical media for that stuff when it's split across 2 sets does kind of suck. But so far it's an interesting enough series that it's worth the $80-ish you probably have to spend to get both sets.
Mm-hmm.
So, or
It's
I mean,
awesome.
it's the internet. Like there are other ways to get this stuff.
Yeah.
But anyway, Rich, you and I both saw Black Widow.
Yeah. I wasn't sure if I was going to go to the theaters or see it or not, but we had an extra ticket, so I was like, sure, I'll go see it. And it was fine.
I enjoyed it.
Like, I didn't hate it. Like, I'm not saying I didn't enjoy it. It was, to me, very middle of the road Marvel. Like, it wasn't the worst, it wasn't the best, there. Like, I see a lot of people sitting there, like, comparing it and saying, like, it's as bad as Thor 2, and I'm like, I wouldn't say it's as bad as Thor 2. Like, it's very middle of the road. Probably could have just been a series, and it might have been better, but it was fine.
Yeah, I think it would have been better if it came out like 2 years ago when it was supposed to, where it could have just been sort of a cap to Phase 3 rather than this sort of, I don't even know what to call it at this point, because it's not like the beginning of Phase, sorry, the dog's barking downstairs. It's not the beginning of Phase 4, but it is at the same time.
And that's the thing, it was originally supposed to be the beginning of Phase 4. I can't remember if, like, I think that was supposed to come out before Falcon and Winter Soldier, I think.
I'm pretty sure it was too, because it was supposed to be out, I think it was originally supposed to come out last April.
Yeah. And so the stinger at the end was supposed to bring a little bit more intrigue, because we wouldn't have met those characters until after Falcon and Winter Soldier. One of those characters, till Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yeah, and so just to be fair, like, I figured we'll skip spoilers since it just came out this past week.
I'm not gonna spoil. I just think, like, it's not gonna be spoiling, but like, yeah, it's it probably would have been better if it came out before the series. Then maybe we would have liked it more. Maybe I would have thought it was a little bit better. But overall, I thought it was just fine. I thought it was just very middle of the road Marvel, and just like it wasn't It's still like, when I say middle of the road Marvel, it's still better than anything DC has done, and a really good movie, but it just doesn't hold up to a lot of the great.
Yeah, and it's one of those, it drags in certain parts in a weird way, and there are a lot of things that you don't really get a proper payoff for.
Mm-hmm.
But I think they did do a very good job building up the relationship between, like, the core characters.
Yeah.
And, like, Yelena was a wonderful character to add to the universe.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, I hope they use her more, because, like, now that they don't have Black Widow, like, she is also essentially Black Widow. Like, in the comics, she was Black Widow, so, like,
yeah,
it works.
And we're gonna have to wait and see until after all of this Phase 4 stuff that is going on ends to see how they bring it all together, because of what they're essentially building with what Stinger did and everything else. Like, it's just, they're building up to something great. I hope they pull it off for movie size and not just keep it with series wise. But like that character, Yelena, should definitely be in Avengers movies. And what I want to say is kind of getting into spoiler territory, so I'm not going to say it. But like, it could be, it should be, and could be good what they can build her up to be.
Yeah, I agree with that. I figured maybe we'll plan a time to do like a little bit of like a spoiler chat on this, but there was something I saw, like a list of little like, they weren't even quite Easter eggs, but there were a lot of things they did in this movie that were callbacks to like the Avengers.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the things that was pointed out that I actually thought was actually really cool, her first appearance in a Marvel movie in Iron Man 2 was her walking towards the camera when she was like entering the gym where Tony and Happy were sparring. The final shot of her in the MCU is her walking away from the screen as she's walking to the Quinjet.
I didn't even think about that. That's a cool little little. It's probably a coincidence, but
No, that seems very intentional.
Yeah, like if it's a coincidence, it's a very, very big coincidence. It seems like somebody probably thought about that. It's just like the vest throughout that movie. That's the vest that she's wearing in Infinity War the whole time.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, I'll have to go back and watch it.
And like, there's some other stuff. Like, there are things that Loki says in the Avengers while the two of them are talking that have an actual impact on this movie.
Oh, really?
Impact's the wrong word, but like, he says a thing in Avengers, and it's a thing that's actually brought up in this movie.
Okay, yeah.
Same thing, Budapest. We finally found out what happened to fucking Budapest.
Budapest.
Yeah, whatever.
That's a bit they do in the movie, Drew, and is somebody says Budapest, and she corrects it's Budapest, and they go back and forth. And I was thinking Cobb would do it, but no, he doesn't do bits.
I don't. I'm not a fucking improv artist. Also, I can't do that either. Like, I can't. I was trying it the other day. I can't do Budapest. Yeah, see, I can do Budapest. For some reason, like, my mouth doesn't do the thing right.
You can't go Budapest.
Yeah, no.
You can't go SCHT all at the same time. Budapest.
Shit. No, see, it just comes out as shit.
Budapest.
No, I had the same problem. When we first got Kaylee and we had like a trainer come out to like trying to help us with her like anxiety and everything like that. A behaviorist more than a trainer. She had told us to make this sound where it was kind of like a sh sound, but with like a hard T at the end. And I can't do it. Like, I can't make the sound.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's weird. But
I mean, it is weird to go Budapest. It's like, it is a weird, like, I don't know, like, it is like a weird mouthfeel to say it like that. I get it. Like, yeah, so I can understand. Like, it's kind of like rolling your R's. Not everyone can like roll their R's if they're trying to.
Which I can do that like a fucking champ.
I'm 50-50 on it. I can't really do it all that great.
I can't at all.
I wasn't even gonna try.
The only fucking thing I can do from I mean, I can do a little bit more from Spanish class, but no, I can roll R's like I can do it all fucking day.
But yeah, Black Widow, like, honestly, go see it. But also at the same time, like, I don't think you're missing much if you don't. Like, you can wait until it's on Disney Plus and be fine, especially since the next movie is The Eternals. The next movie after that is Thor. No, is Doctor Strange. And then the next movie after that is Thor.
Also, Spider-Man is in December.
And Spider-Man is in December. Like, I don't think this movie is going to have any sort of direct connection with any of those. That not seeing this movie won't really affect the storytelling experience of the next 3 or 4 Marvel movies.
Yeah, I think the only place we might see Black Widow references in general, not just to this movie, just to Natasha, is in Hawkeye, because they had a close relation.
Yeah.
And we haven't, because of the way Endgame wraps up, like Hawkeye got his family back, but you never really see the fallout of how he dealt with the fact that she gave her life so that he could go back to his life.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I can't say anymore.
Yeah. But like I said, maybe we'll plan like a day in a week or two, and we'll do like a 30-minute like spoiler chat and like tack it on to an episode or something.
Yeah, we could probably do that.
You two go right ahead.
Yeah, because I mean, Drew, you're probably not going to watch it until it's free on Disney Plus, I would assume.
I don't even know I'll watch it then, honestly. I could give 0 fucks about this.
Oh, that's right.
Movie.
You hate prequels. I forgot about that.
It's not necessarily prequels. It's this. Why? Why? Just why?
So,
a whole bunch of why.
Like, I get it. It was actually nice to see. I like the fact that they introduced some characters that can definitely be used later on. They wrapped up a bunch of things about Natasha in it. And it sort of gave her a chance to actually be fleshed out a little bit more.
And I don't see this as a prequel as much of an origin story that just happens to take place prior to Endgame and shit. Like, I don't consider that a prequel. It's an origin story.
I mean, by definition, it's not an origin, though. Like, who's it an origin for?
It's an origin for Yelena, for the new Black Widow.
Okay, like, I guess that is somewhat true. But, like, we also don't know if she's going to be used, like as a Black Widow, either.
Without spoiling, and knowing what generally Black Widow is and that stinger, she will be.
I mean, she will be used at least one more time, but we don't know... Because, like, Marvel's not hot and isn't signing people on for contracts like they were before. So we just don't know. And they've got so many movies lined up over the next few years.
Mm-hmm.
That And also, Loki is the only one that they've renewed for a second season, so who knows how that's going to go. Though all of the Disney Plus shows got a ton of fucking Emmy nominations.
I'm going to say right here, right now, saying that if I found out before I saw Loki that there was a second season, that's a fucking spoiler right there.
I don't think it is.
It is. Like, the way this, like, just go into it not knowing that there's going to be a second season. Like, when you go to watch it, that's all you, like, go into it not knowing there's going to be a second season.
But so, like, knowing that is one of their most popular characters, and that there's not really another reason to kill him again, like, why wouldn't they leave it open for... And honestly, with all the time travel shit, like, there's no reason they couldn't do another Loki season and have it be a completely different Loki.
Again, I cannot comment any further. But once you watch it, I think you'll understand.
Probably. I mean, I probably won't be watching it till tomorrow or Friday. But
I know. Once you watch it, I think you'll understand as to why the announcement of Loki Season 2 being made from some platforms at 8 o'clock this morning, before people even got a fucking chance to watch the show, for me, that can...
But that's news.
No, it's not.
That's
no,
news. Yes, it is.
You have not watched the show, though. It is different.
And I never will.
Has Falcon and Winter Soldier, has WandaVision, have either of them gotten sequel announcements? No.
Did they?
No, because they're not renewed.
Because they haven't been renewed.
Because they go knowing that, trying not to spoil it. I can't say what happens.
But you're looking at it as you, like, having already watched it. Me having not watched it yet and not, like, Drew doesn't give a fuck about the show or spoilers. So no offense, Drew, your opinion doesn't matter.
Oh, yeah, no, my opinion is, who gives a fuck about spoilers? Just watch the things. Just watch it anyway. Who cares?
But so,
I care.
Me, who I care. Like, I don't want to be spoiled. But also, like, I haven't seen the finale yet. I don't think that, like, me going into it, like, oh, that's cool. It got another season. Like, that doesn't bother me at all going into the final episode. Because, like, even if they, like, pretend to kill Loki in this final episode, and then I'm left, like, wondering, like, oh, how are they going to do season 2 now if he's dead? They already announced season 2, so, like, we know we're getting season 2. It's Loki and his time travel. They've killed him 4 fucking times already.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he just keeps coming back.
Like, if I had... Like I said, if I had seen that before I'd watched it and then watched it, I'd been like, well, look, it's, I don't know. I just don't think, I don't think that should have been, like, and it's more on Disney for making the announcement this morning.
Yeah, so,
and less on the media outlets, but, like, I don't think they should have made that announcement 8 hours after the show was released on Disney Plus at midnight. Like, they should have waited a few days to be like, oh, by the way, because one of the last things that shows is Loki will return in season 2. During the credits, it says that. So it's like, that's a big thing that they show during the credits. And it's like... I
mean, does everyone sit all the way through the credits on...
No,
I don't.
It's what they did with the rest of the Marvel movie. Like, right as the credits are rolling, they say that first.
Like they did with Back to the Future 2, when it says... You know, Back to the Future will return with Back to the Future 3 or to be continued or whatever they did.
Or like with the Marvel movies, where when they don't have a mid or when they do have a mid but don't have a post credits scene, they would do the mid credit scene and then write so and so will return in such. Like, they throw the credits and, like, within, like, as the credits are rolling, the first thing you see is Loki will return in season 2. And for me, I was like, oh, mind blown because of how it ends. And...
But, I mean...
I wasn't expecting, up until that point of seeing that, and how it ends and everything that happens, I was not expecting a season 2 of Loki until I saw that. And it's because of, like, it's just... I know it's news, but I also feel like that's sort of spoilery. Look, somebody said me saying, don't try to stay away from fucking social media to avoid spoilers is a spoiler. So people can consider any fucking thing a spoiler. If I say...
Which is exactly why
if I say
the correct opinion is spoilers don't matter.
Spoilers... Look, that's... You don't... You're not a person who cares about scripted stuff, though. Like, you watch a lot of... Like, you watch a lot of sports, you watch a lot of shitty scripted wrestling, which you've even said is the worst part of the wrestling. Like, what is the last story thing that you've really cared about?
Like as it was actively ongoing.
Yeah.
House, which was like 20 years
Jesus
ago.
Christ.
Yeah,
Yeah, that ended in 2012.
And that, like...
Okay, it's more recent than I thought.
And that even, like,
but...
that was a procedural show. Like,
all right,
it didn't
actually,
really have... It did have a cohesive story, but that's a procedural.
It had a major, massive, long-going character storyline. Like, don't take that shit away from House.
No, but, like, House is a show that you can watch the fifth episode of season 1 and the 4th episode of season 3, and you wouldn't really be missing much, if anything at all.
Wildly disagree.
Like,
you could jump around season 1 and be okay, but after that, it definitely, like, the ongoing arcs went between seasons in such a way, especially when it came to, like, the original team leaving, him having to find a new team, some of those characters floating in and out.
His relationships with the boss, with Wilson,
and Cuddy, and I can't forget his name, the fucking giant black dude that was in charge of the hospital for a while that hated him, the cop that fucking hated him that he gave the rectal exam to, or the rectal thermometer to. Like, and that played out, I think, through an entire season, where, like, you definitely had to have watched the whole season or you wouldn't understand, like, when, like, those little things popped up.
Yeah, it's not a fucking sitcom where you can watch any random episode.
Hey, that is also not entirely true. Like, Rich, you're watching fucking How I Met Your Mother. Like, that show definitely has a pretty... Like, not every episode is tied together, but, like, there's a pretty strong narrative through most of that series. Outside of, like, it actually being a story being told.
But, like, it's also... There are background stories in other... Like, in Law and Order. And, like, there are character stories in Law and Order. Like,
there are.
But that's a procedural, is what I said. Like, House it has those stories, but episode to episode, it's primarily a procedural where it's, what is this case this week? And
you're normally not tuning into House for the monster of the week as much as what douchebag thing is House going to do to somebody this week.
Exactly, though. Like, how is he going to be a douche? And, like, what is, like, but that's just, I don't know. Yeah.
Oh, and I cared about the first, like, 4 seasons of Walking Dead. When did that show get bad, Cobb?
Season 2.
All right.
No, I'm
I cared
kidding.
about the first
like
two.
season 5.
No.
Season 5 is when it started.
Okay.
Like, I watched until, like, season 8, 7, and then stopped, but I wasn't liking it from, like, 5 on.
Yeah, I want to say Sarah and I stopped at the end of 4. Maybe it was 5. I don't fucking remember. But so maybe Walking Dead for a little while, but...
Basically, by the time I got to Alexandria, the show had already started going downhill, and Alexandria is where it really went downhill.
Yeah.
Which I want to say was like season 5 or 6. Because
fucking who knows?
Because the second half of season 2 was the prison finally, because the first half was all the farm.
Right.
Or no, actually all of season 2 was the farm, wasn't it? I don't even fucking remember anymore.
Fucking who knows? I don't know.
So the governor was split between 2 half seasons across season 3 and 4. And they didn't get to Alexandria until at the end of season... No. Terminus was the end of season... When they got to Terminus was the end of season 5. Okay. They got to Alexandria and killed the guy at the end of season 5 of Alexandria, I believe. And then the beginning of season 6 was that split timeline black and white, not black and white episode, where it was like what happened immediately after with what happened like current day or something like that. I think that was the breakdown. I don't 100% recall correctly, but I think that was
Sure, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, no, I don't generally watch, like, ongoing scripted television, because it's not entertaining to me. It's not good to me. Like...
But, like...
There hasn't been anything compelling and interesting.
But, like, not even just television. Like, video games, or even, like, books. Like, it's story... Like... And there's nothing wrong with not liking story beats or not really caring a lot about story stuff. But, like, what is the most recent game that you really cared about the story?
Hades. I've played 90 fucking hours of that game.
I mean, okay, that's...
You've missed the entire story in Hades. Like, there is a shit ton of story and character development and way more going on in that game than fucking... What's the last game you played with the fucking story that's, like, actually compelling and shit? Like...
I'm going to...
Monster Hunter?
I'm going to be getting Monster Hunter stories.
Is that, like...
Let's see, what what are the most recent games of Avengers?
Avengers did have a good story.
Okay, that was the one thing about
what was that game that I complained about because it was disappointing, although I cared about the story?
You said Avengers already.
Well, no, they're no, but it was
Outriders. That
like I play.
I don't know.
I mean, I'm in the middle of playing Fallout 4 because I've never actually
that game's from 7 years ago.
Yeah, I know, but like I'm just like
I played 100 hours of that game.
Yeah,
like I play plenty of shit with story in it.
You just don't care about the story half the time.
Not really. I mean, that's not the case.
I will say, the thing that actually kept me interested in Hades was actually the narrative part of it. I still fell off of it because I just get bored with that sort of game, like the game loop.
Mm-hmm.
But like that did have a really interesting narrative.
It's got that's like 150,000 lines of voice dialogue in that game, something like that, something ridiculous.
I obviously didn't play that enough because I got no story from that, or
no, you didn't. You did not pay attention to that fucking game.
I did pay attention to it. Like
no, you clearly fucking didn't.
Hang on, Rich.
What?
Hang on. So the story in Hades is very much you have to go looking for it by honestly, you have to die. Like you have to get to a place. Sorry, I hit the microphone. Die. Get back to the beginning, talk to everybody.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Go back in, die again, talk. You have to do it. You really have to die a lot to get the narrative going. Because it wasn't until I got to at least the second boss.
I got to the third fucking area, the first boss in the third fucking area. I died a lot.
No. What I'm saying is, it wasn't until I got to
everyone.
It wasn't until I got to the second boss that I really started to get story stuff out of people, because you start getting I can't think of her name, basically the personification of darkness. I think she was Nyx, there you go, where she starts popping up and telling you stuff, and the Valkyrie starts showing up a little more often to talk to you because you beat her more than just that one time, and then characters start going missing from around there, Achilles goes missing and stuff like that. So you can't talk to him that time. And you got to start giving people the nectar or whatever that shit was. That, there was a lot of story there.
And here's the thing. I never had any fucking nectar because I could never fucking get it because it's too fucking random. If I need to get a fucking item to get more fucking story, then I'm sorry, you're doing it wrong.
I mean, at the very beginning, it is hard to come by. Intentionally. It's very intentional. As you play that game, you get more and more and more. As you're getting more and more story, everything. You get more and more everything as you're playing that game.
Yeah, I did not put that much time into it compared to Drew in any way, shape, or form. But I did get to a point where I was getting the nectar pretty regular.
You might not get it every run, but you get to a point where you have it.
Yeah, but don't get me wrong.
Or where you almost certainly will get one to give to someone that you want to progress story with.
Don't get me wrong. I talked to everyone, and everyone had at least one nectar in them. I had at least one heart in everyone in the lobby areas. I do talk to everyone, but I know Greek mythology, so I know basic story. I don't know all of Greek mythology, but a lot of the characters I know their basic stories, and I didn't like the gameplay enough to want to push me forward in more of it.
God, the game plays so well.
I thought I thought it was very dry. I thought it was very it was monotonous and mundane and this is coming from a guy who likes games like City Skylines and fucking No Man's Sky,
Avengers, and fucking played a bunch of fucking Outriders, which was mundane and boring shit.
Outriders had really good gunplay and
it didn't. It was fine,
and has really good abilities and differences in abilities. And yeah, if I play more, it gets maybe my combos get better, or I don't know, but I've said this before. If I have the fists and I press square 5 times and he just punches forward and he can't move when punching and all he does is punches forward, give me combos, give me style. But
the game is not about the combos are you should be punching and dashing and then using the the Y attack, the top button attack, because it is coming out on everything, like, it's not a combo from just using the same one ability over and over again. That's like saying in fucking Monster Hunter you should get a combo when you literally just hit the light attack every single time.
But you do!
Like,
every time you hit the light attack, it adds to the combo up to 5 hits. It's a different slash every time you hit it, up to however many hits depending on the weapon. If you're using the sword and shield, every time you hit the light attack button, it does a different slash connected to the combo if it's in time. Instead of punch.
The 5, but it's fucking punches. What do you want them to fucking do?
Punch, uppercut, sidewinder, kick.
The uppercut is the different button.
But like, and make that fit in. Make a punch with a triangle with an uppercut instead of just like, it's just like you were like, you play fucking Muso.
You played that game wrong.
When I played this was after I had played Hyrule Warriors, and you called me out on playing a Muso game. But that game has more fucking style than this because yes, it does. Because if you hit the light attack button twice and then hit the heavy attack button, he does 2 slashes and then an ability. And then if you hit the light attack button 3 times and then the heavy attack button, he does a different fucking ability. That has style, that has finesse, and that has to... You have to figure out what works for the situation you're in and what you're doing.
Hades is exactly the fucking same.
Also, I'm just going to throw this out here. Hades, Supergiant Games, 20 people made that game. Outriders, People Can Fly, 320.
Yeah, like, look, I guess I just...
Koei Tecmo, giant fucking company.
Yeah, like, more people can do... I just, like... I said, I don't get it. Yeah, the art is nice. The music is fine. It's nothing, I think it's not the greatest in my personal opinion. It's fine. But it's just, to me, I just don't get it. I don't get the hype. If I don't find the gameplay that good, or at least I don't find the progression of gameplay to get more, to, like, that enjoyable, to push me to continue to play forward, to get the better stuff, because I don't like how it is and how it's done.
But you fucking like the Muso game.
Fucking Link has 4 different fucking fighting styles. With each, he has 4 different fucking weapons you could choose. You could choose spear, you could choose sword, you could choose heavy weapon. 3, not 4, my bad. Actually, the Master Sword is a different kind of fighting style. Fucking Zelda has 2 different kind of fighting styles. And again, you can upgrade and different combos and different hits and do different things. Each
why do
character
combos matter so much?
Like, again, like, you come back to combos like it's that big of a thing, but when, like, you want every game to always be a BBA is a different set of attacks every time. And instead of having to kind of make that happen on your own, which you can, and I don't know, Hades has 6 different weapons with 3 different forms each, which all act, or 4 different forms each, and then the final forms are way different. Actually, like, all the forms are really different from each other. So the shield has 4 different fighting styles, because, like, the one fucking turns it into a flying saw blade instead of, like, a Captain America bounce around thing. And, like I said, there's so much more depth to Hades than you want to give it credit for, because you bounced off it real fast.
It's
because you didn't find the depth in it. Like, you want it to be this...
No, I want to enjoy it. I just, with the level of progress and how fucking random it is. And, like, I'm sorry, I can't put 90 hours into that fucking... I can't. Like, if I don't find the initial game enjoyable, and if I don't find the progression that I need to get to the point to actually enjoy it, enjoyable, I'm not gonna keep fucking playing it.
Which you shouldn't.
And if I don't find the story enjoyable, which, because I haven't seen any story apparently, even though I talk to everyone every time I die, if I don't, like, find any intrigue and like, something to pull me in to want to know, like, I'm not gonna keep playing. Like, there's nothing that's pulling me in to keep playing. It's something that's still on my Switch, and maybe I'll jump to it from time to time, but it's not something that's gonna there's nothing there for me personally to keep me in.
Yeah, and you shouldn't force yourself to play something if it's not drawing you in. Like, you gave it a chance. It's the same thing like when we were arguing about Monster Hunter. Like, I played like 5 or so hours of Monster Hunter. I did not like it, and it's like, it's not for me. Like, It's that simple. But like, it's also like, Drew, like, you can't really compare Rich liking a Musou game to not liking this game. That's like us saying like, well, you like shitty wrestling, like storyline stuff, so like, why don't you like these Marvel superhero shows? Like, you know what I mean?
I mean, you're not wrong from the high level concept of that, but it's like comparing bits and pieces.
Because
Like, I don't know.
Combat wise, they're drastically different. Like, honestly, like Hades is definitely more like, there's a lot of nuance to it, because you do have to figure out what power actually works the best, and like, you have to hope that when you get into that first room where you get like you get to pick like your main like secondary attack or whatever you want to call it, that like you get something that actually you like and that you can work with well. Whereas like in the Musou games, like they're all about just like big flashy moves against hordes of enemies. Like,
Yeah.
it's about like having a combo, because you're getting you're one person getting attacked by 100 and just taking them all out in
True.
3 or 4 slashes. Whereas Hades is not like it. In a lot of cases, Hades, you kind of want to be away from the action unless like you have like one of the short range weapons, so that you have a little more maneuverability.
Yeah.
But yeah, Rich,
Yeah.
so like, don't play stuff that you don't like. That's stupid.
No, I like it's. I would like the last time I played something that I didn't like was to push myself through to beat what the fuck was that game? Borderlands 2. And it was just like, because I was at that time I was interested in Borderlands 3, but then playing Borderlands 2 I was just like, I don't fucking like this game, but I gotta beat it. And then I beat it, and I'm like, I'm never fucking playing a Borderlands game ever again. Because honestly, these games aren't good. These games aren't that fun, and the comedy is just not my style that I don't care for.
Yeah, and I like, a lot of people have that interpretation of them. Like, I only played a little bit of 2, didn't think it was all that good, so never bothered to play it again.
I had the nostalgia glasses for 2. I really liked 2 when it first came out, but then when it was on sale in 2019, I think for $20 for the whole handsome, I bought it and went to play through it, and it was just like, what did I like about this? I couldn't figure it out.
Which unfortunately is a thing that I feel like happens more often than not when like you go back to stuff like that. But I don't know. That is probably a show, unless you guys have anything else.
Everyone should play Hades. It's very, very good.
Everyone should play Hades. Like,
It's worth checking out.
I'm not gonna say you shouldn't play Hades. I like Cobb said with Monster Hunter. He can see the draw, and for me, I can see the draw. Just for me, there's no draw. But I can see the draw for other people. I can I have other problems beyond just the general gameplay. Like also with the level of quote randomness that this game has, and that I kept seeing the same arenas over and over and over, was just too repetitive for me. And fine, like that is. I like it. Everyone should play it. Everyone should. I personally believe everyone should play every game and make their own decision on it. Fuck what anybody else has to say. If you want to play a game, play it. And that's like, go. If you don't like games that I don't like, then you don't like games I don't like. But if you like games I don't like, then you know what? More power to you. Play that game.
Pretty much. And then don't. Oh, my browser just went weird. Hang on. Come on, catch up with yourself. I was closing other things, and like Chrome went a little wonky.
Oh, I love when that happens.
Yeah, it's great. So, just a reminder, but the book club for this month that we'll talk about the first week of August are the narrative podcasts, The Message, and Life After. You can find them on your favorite podcast app. They're all in the same feed.
Mm-hmm.
I forget who did them. Rich, do you remember off the top of your head who does them?
GE Podcast, I believe. GE Podcast
Theater,
yes.
Yeah, no, that sounds correct. So yeah, check those out, and we'll talk about them in a couple of weeks. I have to start those because I keep forgetting to. Maybe I'll start them tomorrow.
I'll probably not listen to them until the week before.
I'm probably gonna.
It's 6 hours.
I'm probably gonna listen to it tomorrow because I've been running out of stuff to watch and for work, and then probably maybe listen to it once more before we record again.
Y'all are crazy. That's 6 hours.
I've listened to it enough that I know I remember everything that's. Like I said, I listen to it at least once a year.
It's one day. I can listen to the whole thing in one day if it's compelling enough.
Yeah, so I don't have I have to do enough for work generally that like phone calls and things that like I don't actually have 6 hours where I can just listen to things. But I will also forget to listen to it while it's playing in the background and have to go back and restart it if I do that. So I have to like pick a time and like I have to be strategic about it. Like, I have to listen to it for a little while and then stop and do something else and then come back and listen to it again for a little while. Otherwise, I'll totally zone, just kind of like with that Resident Evil thing. I will completely zone out and not remember anything that happened. And I want to actually, like, pay attention so that I, like, retain it. But anyway, if you'd like to find more of our content, you can head over to www.one-quest.com. You can also help us out by supporting us at patreon.com/onequest. If you can't support us there with dollars, then you can go to your favorite podcast platforms, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Amazon Music, all those places. Rate us, review us, subscribe to us. Those things all help a whole bunch. You can also find us on social media, facebook.com/onequestonline or at @1_quest on Instagram and Twitter. Our YouTube channel is youtube.com/onequestvideo. And you can send us emails to social@one-quest.com. And then, Rich, you're going to be streaming throughout the week and everything?
Yeah, I've been streaming Fallout 4, twitch.tv/b_walnuts. Friday and Saturday are iffy if I'm going to stream. I usually take those days off, but I'll probably be back. And Sunday this week, I might be off. But Monday through Thursday, generally around 7, 8 o'clock. And then Sunday, sometimes in the afternoon. Check it out, twitch.tv.
Cool. And with that, we will be back next week with something else to talk about. Thanks for listening. Bye.
See yous.
Bye.